right, we're done.
Let's rip it, boys.
All right, going in 3, 2, 1.
All right, this is the first episode of the Kilotrained podcast with Luke Schaefer, Austin Adelkoff, Micah Casper. It's brought to you by Casper Building Services, LLC. Take it away, Micah.
Yes, the pilot is sponsored by my brother and his business, Lucas Casper and Casper Building Services. For all your framing, carpentry needs, new remodel, new construction, kitchen, bath, new construction, give them a contact at 319-530-2435. You can also find them on Facebook at Casper Building Services. Check out his reviews. You can also find them at Instagram at Casper Building Services, LLC. Go give them a follow.
All right, so we had the tailgate last night. Austin, how'd that go?
It went really well. We probably had 30 people show up to the tailgate, and we're looking forward to this event. A lot of energy around the town with the Hawkeyes playing at home. Big night game against Penn State. And it was a beautiful evening, so we had the grill down here. We got cooking, enjoyed each other's company. Rick and Sandy Horner brought down the little 4-square volleyball game. I don't know what that thing's called, but it got set up here in the gym, and people were getting after it. It was a good time.
Yeah, I think that that's a big thing that's different from Kilo 2 compared to other gyms. You know, we build relationships through working out compared to like a Globo gym where everyone's on their own, just trying to get in and out as fast as possible. You get like the 6 a.m. crew chilling after class for 10, 15 minutes all the time and getting to know each other, which is awesome.
Yeah, that group has been really, really good in and out of the gym with building relationships. I mean, I know that they've been doing a lot of different get-togethers. I think they got out on the river once this summer. It seems like they're always doing dinner parties, and the majority of that class got here for the tailgate, and so it's pretty cool to see a lot of friendships build outside the gym where, like you said, in a traditional Globo gym or something like where you're pretty alone, and training can be kind of hard sometimes, but it's been awesome to see that class grow.
So, Micah, you were the first one of us to join Kilo. Why don't you let us know how you hopped into CrossFit Kilo?
There's a little bit of history here. Some of it you guys don't know a little bit about, so I'm happy to share that with you guys. Started, I guess, officially. It's kind of funny when you ask people like when you did your first CrossFit workout, and I kind of actually remember the dates and who I did it with and who I met at the gym the first time. This is back at the old location at Kilo off of Viking Road, and I say the space that they had there is probably about a quarter of what it is now at the new gym that they have located in Cedar Falls. Dallas Edie got me into it on a Saturday. There was just a bring a friend day, so I didn't have to pay a drop-in fee.
Was he a friend from college?
Yeah, yep. And I actually don't know how he got started with it, but he said, "Hey, come check it out." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." So I actually went early. This is, I think, when they had like a 6 a.m. and a 7 a.m. class. I can't remember. It was early though. We woke up for the 6 a.m. and we did Fran. And
Classic.
yeah, and I got it in like between like 5:30 and 6, around that range. And I was doing straight pull-ups. It really hurt me bad.
How was the front rack back then?
I don't remember.
Did you capture Armin's attention?
No.
Nothing special.
No, Sarah was the coach though. I remember that.
She captured your attention. You don't have to lie.
I'm not going to comment on that. Yeah, so I just remember kind of being left in the dust with that workout, and I ended up walking on the hill that night, and I was messed up, not from partying or drinking anything, but just from that workout that day. And I woke up so sore the next day that I kind of fell in love with. It felt like I could get a 5K run workout in like a 5-minute window, and I liked having that feeling. So that's kind of how I got started with that, and then I became a member that next week for the remainder of my senior
You
year.
were a divisional wrestler at UNI.
Yep.
So how long after you stopped the team were you hopping in there?
It was about a year and a half
After?
okay. Yep.
So what were you doing for working out before that?
Just getting together with my buddy Jared Beebe, who was a roommate with me, and he was a football player. He was a former football player at Northern Iowa.
Okay.
And we just went to the WRC and just picked up weights and just threw it around, just stayed in shape. I did a lot of running on the side though. I was probably 25 pounds lighter than I am now, so running came really easy, so I did that a lot.
Yeah.
Did you know about CrossFit before your friend introduced you to the gym?
No.
Never seen it?
No, I didn't even know. I actually thought it was really weird because I asked him about the gym I was going to and stuff, or was gonna go do that morning workout with him, and he said it's actually called the gym, and I just thought that was kind of weird. It's like, yeah, what's the name of it though? And he said it's called the gym, like the gym, Kilo. I was like, oh, this is a very weird thing. So I just ended up going with it, and I just remember walking in and everybody was doing these kipping pull-ups and all this, and not butterfly. I don't really remember anybody doing butterfly. Everybody was still learning like the kipping back then. It was 2010, it was still pretty early with CrossFit, at least from what I thought.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
Yeah. I do remember Armin was training for the games, and he was going ham. He was going hard. He was scary. One workout, it might have been within that same first month that I was there. I remember walking in, and the class workout, I'll never forget it, was 10 rounds, 10 back squat, 10 ring muscle up, I can't remember what it was. It was 225 back squat and ring muscle ups. I'll leave the rep scheme out of that. I can't remember what it was. If it was 10 and 10, 100 ring muscle ups and 100 back squat, that doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like anything anybody would want to program.
Really close.
But
He went unbroken on everything, and I thought that was pretty BA. I was like, okay, if he could do that, I can do that. So, and that was a tough, like nobody was doing ring muscle ups hardly at that gym either. And so,
that reminds me of the story that Armin told us, how he was introduced to ring muscle ups and couldn't do them at first, and then I believe he told me, or told the story, that he hung some rings in his garage and practiced them all night long until he figured them out.
That's some persistence.
I got my first ring muscle up at Kilo, and Armin was upstairs in his little bunker that he lived in, and
Aren't bunkers underground?
yeah,
Okay, but we'll go upstairs to the bunker. Keep going.
his little storage area up top that he'd hunker down in. Anyways, I just remember him coming up to me one day and he said, "You got ring muscle ups yet?" And I was like, no. He's like, "Dude, you should." And I looked at him like, "Who's this guy?" "What do you mean I should?" And it was a Thursday and we had skills, and there was also open gym. He was there all day, so I didn't go to the skills class or anything like that. I just went between classes. And I remember getting my first ring muscle up because I was so mad at him for saying, "No, you should have these by now."
So he lit a little fire in you then.
Yeah, it kind of ticked me off.
Saw the talent.
I stayed there until I got one ring muscle up, and I was the goofball in the corner, failing probably 13, 14, 15 times, about ready to break my wrist and my arm, but I didn't leave until I got one. I didn't start stringing ring muscle ups together until I got to Kilo 2, which was pretty much 7 years later.
I'm glad we could help you with that.
Yeah, that's when I kind of got a little bit better at CrossFit.
I remember when you first came into the gym, I was in the middle of one of the first demolitions, and this guy, and he definitely looked like a shop teacher, and he could see I was pretty busy with carrying plywood, drywall, 2x4s, nails, all the above, out to the dumpster. In the middle of it would have been February or March.
It was the week.
I remember it was cold because it was the 5th week.
It was
of
the
open.
week of .3.
Okay, so we're in the middle of the
It was the
open.
Wednesday before the Thursday announcement of .3.
And you really wanted to introduce yourself.
I did.
And spend a lot of time with me asking questions about the gym and getting started. And I tried to just be frank with you and just say, hey man, just come in and try a class.
Yeah.
And you just kind of hung around. It kind of creeped me out.
Forced the friendship upon Austin.
Oh, excuse me. I actually had, that's back when I was working and teaching at Williamsburg. I had a doctor appointment in the afternoon, and I had emailed Austin saying, hey, do you mind if I stop by? He said, yeah, sure. So I did. After my doctor appointment, I had to take the rest of the afternoon off. And I just came in to say hi. This was back when the gym was, I don't know what phase you would call it.
Yeah, it was, we were only 6 months old at the time. So the big wall hadn't even been touched.
You weren't touching the wall, you were touching some storage area in the back that had steps, phase 2.
Yep.
I can't really remember what that
It was
purpose
just
of
getting rid of that corner storage area.
And yeah, so I went up to him, and I hung around because he wasn't talking to me. I remember I introduced myself, I shook your hand, you picked up a pile of drywall, and there's a dumpster out back by this building.
Yeah, the homeless shelter now.
Yeah, the homeless shelter building. Yeah, there's a Johnson County Refuse dumpster back there that he was just filling up. Walking out, and I remember walking across the train tracks, and he walked over there. I was like, is this guy ever going to take the time of day to give me just a, hey, what's up?
You know, not much has changed because Michael will sometimes be talking, and I'll just be kind of staring off into space, and he'll basically be carrying on a conversation with himself.
By himself.
It really nothing's changed.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what you wanted from me. I mean, hey, you're interested in CrossFit? Awesome. Nice to meet you. See you tomorrow in class.
Yeah, well, I knew this was sistered with Kilo up there, and I just kind of want to say, yeah, I've got a little history with Kilo, and I don't want to become your friend quite yet, but you know, I wanted a little, hey, let's just go sit down and talk. How's the open going? I was actually kind of trying to be buddy at first, and then I just remember leaving, like, you know what, I'm gonna show up there, I'm gonna do the open there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna become a member yet. And I do remember one of the main reasons that I did come was actually because of Street Horner at the time. I looked up, saw how he was doing. I kind of knew Luke from, he coached me in one class in 2015 when I was building a house up in Cedar Falls that summer when you guys made it to the games, did all the training and stuff. You guys were there quite a bit in the afternoons. And he was just starting coaching. It might have even been one of the first classes he had coached. But he didn't know who I was, not that he would. I didn't later know Luke until really after the Open in 2017. But Street had qualified for regionals. I called one of my good buddies, Wyatt, and I said, hey, they have a couple of regional qualifiers. They got a young coach that trains there year-round. He's there all day. The gym's got really good programming. Let's just give it a try. The demographics more our age anyway, and I think it could really push us. So Austin ended up being all right.
Yeah, the demographics at the time were, I mean, it definitely started off as a young crowd. We had a good core group, I would say, at the 5 a.m. class, and then our afternoon classes were definitely filled with young adults and young professionals. And since then, we've definitely grown the local population and local professionals, which has been good to see. But yeah, no, getting you into the gym, Micah, was definitely awesome, and Wyatt, when he was here for his short time, was great too. Micah, can you talk about how you changed as an athlete when you really started the Kilotrained program?
Yeah, it felt pretty good just getting on structure, where we had everything laid out a week ahead. And I was never on Armin's programming back in 2010. I wasn't a competitive athlete. I just was trying out CrossFit. It wasn't that grown in popularity yet. So I didn't really have too much interest. And then obviously the fad really took off for like the next 6 years, and I was one of the people that kind of jumped on it. Plus, I just really enjoyed it. I really liked the fact that I could lay out my week. And since I'm a teacher, I only have so many minutes in the days, and then I dedicated myself to the weekends too to really do a lot of the volume training. And I think the biggest turnaround for me was training with and just being around Luke, Austin, Street, a few people like that in the gym. It's kind of what excelled.
Yeah, that first summer after the 2017 Open is when you just exploded.
Yeah.
You're a really good competitor and had more free time on your hands.
I did.
Could tap into that volume a little bit more.
Yeah, I actually took that entire summer off. About 8 straight summers before that, I worked building houses and really dedicated a lot of time to just making a lot of money in the summer. And I kind of knew with my age that I wanted to dedicate a little bit more time to see, hey, can I either try and do this thing at regionals, and this is back when regionals was a thing, and it was a big reason to train, was to try to make it to regionals, and that was for a lot of people, and I wanted to do that. It was definitely one of my goals. I actually ended up really close with that Open.
Yeah, you and Austin.
Yeah, Austin.
2018, right? Or 2017?
2018. 2017, I didn't do very well. I still was lacking. It was the gymnastics part. I could hit a lot of high reps of ring muscle ups or bar muscle ups or just little things like that that really were limiters for me in the Open that were setbacks. So anytime that really kind of came up, it was like, oh crud, I'm only going to do singles. So if I get top 150 in that workout, then that's about as good as I was going to get.
Yeah, that was a fun year though, 2017, because that was Luke's first year making it to regionals as an individual, and I know as a friend of Luke's at the time, I was really excited for him because, we had, like you said earlier, Mike, had always, dreamt of qualifying to regionals as an individual, and when Luke made that happen after a really, really hard summer of training, he was getting after with a little more volume than what was on the regular competitor programming, and he was putting in 3K rows, 3K runs and bikes every single day to kick off his training, and it ended up paying off for him. And to see him finish really well at regionals was a lot of fun. And that was also when Street tied for first there too, so that was a cool year. Luke, you want to expand on that and your experience with that?
Yeah, I guess with Kilo, I guess I started off showing up at the old gym, or it was when they were transitioning to the new place, I guess. And I just remember pulling into the parking lot and seeing Armin screaming at Kate to run faster because they were training for the, those have been the 2013 games.
2013 games, yeah.
So I was coming in super intimidated because all I'd seen was YouTube videos for regionals of them just being hard asses, with Armin being the Marine leader, military style, and I don't know. Coming in, I had always played sports, been competitive, but going in there, I was super intimidated just because it was a new environment. So, as coaches now, it's a lot easier to empathize with people, that haven't been in a competitive background. Walking in here takes a lot of courage.
Sure does.
And bravery to be able to walk in here with people throwing around weights, especially in a little bit more competitive type gym like this. It's definitely slowed down, I would say, with the new structure, but it's definitely more intimidating for some of these people. So definitely gain a lot more respect for people starting in the gym now.
And Luke, tell us how you discovered CrossFit Kilo. Were you kind of looking out for a CrossFit gym in the area?
Yeah, so I tried playing football at Wartburg and found out I wasn't athletic enough. And I also kind of discovered that I enjoyed the training leading up to the actual season as I entered college football. So this basically CrossFit is training. So that was the only gym in the area at the time, and luckily enough for me and for all three of us, I guess, it was a top competitive gym in the area. And I did not get into CrossFit for the health of it, honestly. I got into it for competitive reasons. You see the YouTube videos, the games, and back then it definitely was a little bit easier to make it, in 2014 at least, and then it started to take off from there, I would say. So Austin and I definitely got in at the right time, considering we weren't super strong, super fast at anything, but we worked our asses off, and we definitely came in at the right time when Kilo had a ton of competitors. It was you, me, Jeremy McGinney, Kyle Flickinger, a whole bunch of girls, a whole bunch of guys that were experienced. So we came in with a bunch of experienced people that kind of showed us the way.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, I just had stumbled upon CrossFit online and CrossFit Games on YouTube, you know, and I'm like, all right, where's the closest CrossFit gym? And so I think all three of us got super lucky, especially, you know, Luke and I, who were looking for, you know, a gym to be competitive. We got lucky with finding Kilo. I mean, that is just a 1 in 1,000, you know, chance to just, oh, hey, this gym's notorious for having athletes that have games level experience, have a head coach that's got a master's in exercise science to lead the way, and just laid a great foundation from the start. So, you know, that was, you know, just, wow, what an opportunity once you got that all figured out and digested how special that was. But, oh man, you know, going into Kilo, you know, I started pretty much right around the same time you did, Luke, with down at the chamber. It was, what's that?
What was around the
Fall,
date?
fall
the year?
2013.
Yeah, I started, fall 2013.
Which is what, your junior year?
No, I was actually out of
Sophomore.
college. I was graduated from college. I was working as a server at Texas Roadhouse. I was also
What year did you graduate, you and I?
2012, December.
Yeah, I would have been a sophomore, I believe. 2013, yeah, sophomore.
And yeah, so I was 1 year out of college. I was I was substitute teaching and still coaching basketball at the time. But yeah, same thing. You know, I walked into Kilo down at the chamber, and it was intense. You know, I didn't see Armand a whole lot early on. I just actually was coached by a few of his staff members who were really good, like Ian and Sonia and Kate and them, and it was like, wow, these people they're knowledgeable. They're gonna take me to the level I want to go, and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, I think we had a unique experience in the fact that we were there for, what, 6, 7 months, and we were going to regionals. So that is not a normal.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Not a normal experience as far as that. So we were super lucky, and then, I mean, shoot, the next year we made it to the games.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there for a year and a half making it to the games. So it's kind of like, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some people started to spread out with moving on as Cedar Falls, and same thing with Iowa City. People move on from, you know, a college type town. But yeah, we got super blessed coming in at the time we did, and the time of CrossFit we did, actually, because if I had started out right now at where I was at, then that sure was not happening in 6 months. I'll tell you what. Yeah,
there was, oh man, just the level of athleticism on, when you look at like an average, like the average CrossFitter now looking, you know, to compete is, I mean, they're cleaning weights that were, or snatching weights, cleaning weights, squatting, whatever you want to think of as a movement. I mean, what most people can do now, only a handful of people could do back then.
Yeah.
And I mean, in training now, we're hitting numbers in training for these lifts that would have held up really, really well at the highest level.
Yeah.
And now it's like they get laughed at in a sanctional or regional level competition. So it's cool to see though how the sport has grown, and how just.
It's funny you say that. I remember making a goal of all I have to do is get to a 300-pound clean and a 225 snatch, and I'll be all right.
Good to go. Got a podium at the games.
Yeah, like that's about all I need, and then just get really fit.
Unfortunately,
with engine
everyone
work,
else kept going up
yeah,
too.
I just remember that mindset in like 2015. It's like, if I could just clean 300, clean and jerk 300, and just snatch 2 1/4, I'm good. I'm not. That's not the numbers you need nowadays.
What's cool though with Kilotrained, and I'll let Luke expand on Kilotrained in a second here, is to see our athletes continue to grow with the rest of the population, and we're still staying very competitive. I mean, we've got athletes in Kilotrained now, or who are just prior Kilotrained athletes that are doing things at the highest level still, and whether it be from a team scenario or an individual scenario, kilo athletes are still getting after it at the highest level, and that's really cool to see. So Luke, tell us a little bit about Kilotrained and the remote programming aspect of it now that's being offered thanks to you and Armin, and kind of how athletes can get involved.
Yeah, so like Austin said, we've been super lucky to have Armin, who has, 8, 9, 10 years of programming under his belt, a lot of experience, and we're able to use that for some online programming. So the big thing that we preached as we were getting started with Kilo is that we didn't really recruit people. It was kind of start out as pretty average or below average athletes and building them up to high level elite athletes, and a lot of that started with the mindset. So I mean, he would give us just beat down workouts that, yes, they would help us physically, but even more than that, it was getting stronger mentally. Like, I remember one day it was 100 back squats at 225 pounds, and my max power clean at the time was 235. And I went up to Armin and I said, should I scale this or
so you had to clean it off the floor then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you drop it, you got to pick it back up. So you're talking about hitting back squats.
You're hitting 90+%.
Yeah. And he said, no, do it RX. And
word.
I'm hitting basically max power clean to get it up, hit a max set, I drop it. I don't know how I'm going to get that bar back up, but it's just finding that fight, that extra drive to be able to push through workouts like that. That definitely gave us the extra edge going into the comps, because we were hitting workouts way harder than anyone else. Not just the type of workouts, but the intensity we brought, because we had such a competitive crew that we were always trying to beat each other. And I talked with Armin and Austin about it. We want to bring that to the masses and get some people some opportunity to get the same type of training that we did. So a lot of what I do, apart from what Armin's programming is put a lot of the mental side into the workout descriptions and how they should be attacking workouts. A lot of it is not going to be about pacing so much, because it is training. So we can probably go into a different episode of competitive competition versus training and all that type of stuff. But learning how to compete, learning how to train properly, how to attack workouts, what mindset to go into it with. And we've had a lot of different athletes come through, and it's been cool to see their growth, both athletically, physically, and then mentally as well.
Yeah, when Armin first started working with us, I mean, he knew our goals and what we wanted. And, later on with experience as a coach, I think back to those times and how good Armin was at recognizing people's goals and knowing who he could push the way he pushed them. He knew that you wanted to be really, really good. And so the mental side of it, he was just able to get after you, and he knew you could take it too, and it helped you step your game up to the next level, and he just got more out of you, which was pretty cool to see. But definitely since opening Kilo 2 down here, the way so many people down here have improved their fitness and health has just been outstanding to me. Just the number of people that we're helping now, no matter what their goals are. Kilotrained mentality and the programming is something that I value very, very highly.
So speaking of Kilo 2, let's get into the origins. So after you left Kilo, you went to Bettendorf with Meredith.
Yep, so
You worked there?
Well, Meredith took a job down in Davenport, her first nursing job after she graduated from Allen College. And I moved down to Bettendorf with her, and it was an easy move for me because that's where I grew up. So I was substitute teaching at the time, had a coaching job at 1031 Fitness, which is a good gym down there along the river, owned by Austin Teal. And I just worked as a strength coach for the youth program that they had at the time. And I believe it's called the Quad City Athlete Academy now. So I was doing some personal training there, coached some classes there, coached the youth program, and then after about a year's time, Meredith wanted to take a job up in Iowa City. And I was like, okay, cool, time for me to figure out what I wanted to do. And I approached Armand about expanding his business, and he was all for it. The next move was finding a location, and that's where a lot of challenges came into play. But we found a Diamond Vogel paint shop on South Capitol Street, and I just got in there, started looking around, and just looking at the things you would want out of a CrossFit gym, looking at the ceilings, looking at the floors, looking at, okay, how's this building built, and can this work? And I took some videos, sent it to Armand, and he was like, yeah, man, I mean, you gotta use your imagination and think about what you can turn it into. And I'm like, well, shit, this could work. And then in August, actually July of 2016, signed a lease, and a month later, after a lot of hard, hairy work, we had a gym going.
Got it done.
And what's actually funny is I should have probably said when I really truly first met Austin.
When Armand and I ran into Micah Casper at Menard.
At 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh. So,
at 6 a.m. That's the best part of the story, because I knew Armand. Armand approached me. He came up to me. I was picking up lumber for my house. I was building a new house in North Liberty, so I made daily morning trips. Woke up early, got the lumber, built all day. And I knew Armand was still at Cedar Falls, because I'd been on Facebook, still followed him and kept up with him. And I went up to, actually he came up to me and said, Micah, I was like, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing down here at 6 a.m.? He's like, opening up a gym. And this goofball was right next to him. I remember he had the gym, CrossFit Kilo, the older school Kilo hats. I was like, all right, cool. If you need any help with any of the remodeling or any construction stuff or any demo, hit me up. I know what I'm doing. He didn't hit me up. He actually probably thought.
I remember it as. Yeah,
I did. I remember specifically I said it because I also was like, he could hire me. So I want to make a little money so I can use it towards my house as well. But I was legit with it.
I had zero experience with construction, with demolition, and I wish that I would have had the experience I have now, especially after getting to know you and your talent with construction. Had I known who the Micah Casper was, I would have called you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, man. I just remember going back to that moment that we reflected on after the gym was being under work, and we went through numbers and talked about numbers and who you hired and this guy off of Craigslist, some shady stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I told you to contact me.
No, because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff, and so I'm like, all right, what the heck should I do? We got to build a bathroom, we got to build a shower, we got to build another bathroom, and it's got to be in these codes and all this stuff. And he couldn't come down every day. He had his own operation to run, and here I am, zero experience, zero skill with building. It's like, oh yeah, just find somebody on Craigslist. So here I am, I'm just scrolling through Craigslist. I'm like, all right, well, this guy, it says handyman, so I just was calling up some random dudes to come in, and I felt like I got ripped off, and I think Micah confirmed that after he inspected some of the building.
When Austin told me the job description or the job title that needed to be done and what he did, I'm not putting the guy down, but I ended up gutting everything he ended up doing anyway about a year and a half later.
Yeah, when we redid the bathrooms last winter, it was...
Saw some of the work.
It was...
And I was like, you paid this guy what again?
We won't go to numbers, but let's just say I wish I would have known who Micah Casper really was when I met him at Menards that day. So yeah, that's how Kilo 2...
That had to have been right when you closed with the bank or whatever. Because I remember talking with Armand, hey, we got to get in. Today, we have a few weeks.
Oh yeah, no,
we got to be done in 6 weeks or something.
Stayed the night late that day.
Yes, we signed the lease and we started getting after it. Luke was here
immediately, day one. I think that was pretty close to day one.
It was we were getting after it, doing some demo because we were trying to, because there's this other wall that separated the front and the back, and so we wanted to get that tore up. But we started off with very little. So the gym that people see now is drastically different than what it was August 15th, 2016 when we opened for business. And back then, you know, we had 3 classes. We ran a 5 a.m., a noon, and a 5 p.m. Times were scary back then because it was like, all right, we're starting with about 15 members, you know, from pre-sign-ups before we opened the doors for business. And it's like, all right, are we gonna be able to make rent for this month? And people started telling people. We slowly started to grow, but it was there were some hard times there for sure. Lots of marketing to try to get people interested, but you know, sure enough, we stuck with what we thought was going to work: good programming, good coaching, and we relied on what we knew how to do, and the services that we delivered. You know, I think became very valuable to the people that were here in the beginning, and they stuck with it, which was huge. And they, you know, spread the word. Hey, there's a new gym in town that's pretty badass, and they know what they're doing. So come give it a shot, and it grew.
The best decision I think you made was, and I kind of remember you talking before you kind of softened up in our friendship. You actually came and said, hey, what do you think of this idea of taking this second bay? And I said, I'd do it in a heartbeat. And you and I kind of have a little bit of the same mentality with, we'll make the right decision, and then we'll kind of figure it out as we go, rather than like overthinking it or like processing it for too long. And I will tell you that really paid off because there's no limiting factors to the programming, because now you can run multiple classes that overlap and offer more to the community and the members. You know, you can have people that want to row and ski on this section, and it does not affect people that are lifting on this section of the gym. So having that second bay opened up really helped.
Man. You know, when you know, any gym that you know, tries to run a big operation in a small space is going to be hamstringed from time to time with equipment, with space. You know, people being comfortable and just not being able to do everything simply because of the square feet you have to work with. And so, you know, it wasn't long until we were thinking about expansion. You know, we grew to 100 members within that first year, and the bay next door to us at the time was open, and there was it would have been Oasis, the falafel and hummus place. They were checking it out, and they were wanting to get in there. I'm like, well, shoot, if I don't go lease this sucker out right now, we are going to be landlocked, and we're not going to be able to expand. But at the time, you know, it was like, all right, well, we really don't have the revenue generation to do this, but I still pulled the trigger.
Was this abandoned, like not being used the entire time you had been leasing this section?
No, it was. The county used it for their bomb squad truck.
Oh, okay.
But then when they moved out and it opened up, there was a couple months there where nobody was in here, and I was like, well, I can just sit on it and take my time. But then when other people started being interested in it, I'm like, okay, I need to be interested too. And once I found out that the dividing wall wasn't load bearing, we could knock that thing out, I was like, okay, it felt like I was going to try to move a mountain. And then
you did.
And by we, you meant you.
Right. I moved a mountain for the most part, and we did it in 2 phases. And oh my God, that I could go on for an entire episode about.
That could be its own episode.
It's
one detail I'd like to add to that is Austin purchased this bay, opened it up in the middle of regional training between March and May of 2017, where Street and Luke were training for regionals, working in the sawdust. Floors were, I mean, it was just a very debatable training
about
area.
a week, and I'm finally like, I think we should probably put a tarp up.
Yeah,
on the wall.
Like it was
just crap flying everywhere.
Street ended up making it to the games. Luke killed it at regionals, missed games by a few points. I mean, the fact that they were training in no man's land, just a hazardous area, basically, it's amazing.
What was cool though was there were things that they were able to do because of the new space. I believe, I don't know know if there was like a lunge workout or something where they had to traverse a long distance, and the new space already was paying off. It's like, wow, they can actually simulate the workout that was prescribed for regionals because of this new space we have, and the members noticed that too. So that's why I don't think anybody really raised hell at the time.
No,
because it was a war zone in here. Like there was, I mean, stuff was being knocked down. I had tools that I didn't know how to use. I mean, I was grinding through walls and undoing electrical stuff that I had no business undoing. Like it was a tough time, and it was, you know, all day long in between classes. Every chance I could get, it was okay. I'm tearing down this wall. But oh man, people could see what the gym was going to turn into, and they kind of saw the vision that I had, and so they were excited. They were just as excited as I was.
Yeah, I think the big thing people notice is that you always invest back into the gym. Like it's always been, what's next, what's next, what's next. Almost to a fault where you never settle.
Oh yeah, well, you and I both know a coach where I think up in Minnesota, I don't think we need to. It was where he bought a ton of stuff, and it was a really small gym, and our buddy Jay he was like, yeah, there's no room in here. You know, he just spent money just to spend money. Yeah. And it was hard to coach a class in there, I remember he would say. And
common conversation in the gym still to this day is what's Austin doing next? Yeah, what's Austin doing next? Just move something, or you know, the weights will be one day or 1 week, you know, on the east wall, and then the next week on the south wall up on a storage rack or something. Like, what are you doing? Which is fine, that's cool.
And I'll be the first to admit, sometimes it makes no sense at all. Do it just to do it, just to see, okay, will this work? Let's move some stuff around and see what happens.
You stare at this place all day, every day. You gotta change the landscape every once in a while. Yeah.
No, but.
And then actually, I guess while we're on the construction talk, I think you did phase 5, which was demoing the offices, the Kilo 2 store. The following year, 2018 regionals, like every time we were training for like we have a 2-month window where Austin is itching to start something and just get her done. And I'm just like, goodness, can't you just wait until the summer? Yeah, I think it was during regional training.
It was. We just had gotten out of the open.
You're doing late nights trying to plug, you know, 6-inch pipes and all this stuff before, like, golly, like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah,
the stress level in your body, I can't imagine what it was.
It was bad. That was I would say the poorest decision was my timing. I chose to get after a project at the worst possible time. So okay, here we are. We're trying to get after it. You know, train hard for regionals, and it's like all something. You know, let's tear down the rest of this wall. Let's get those asbestos guys in here, have them remove the rest of that. Let's tear down the drop ceiling, and let's just tear this place apart. Right in the middle of training.
It'd be interesting to see how many members we have that were here at the very beginning.
That would be because, you know, we had a lot of turnover. I know, oh man, I could rattle off a list of names for sure.
Like before you even took down the mezzanine, just the original
Kilo 2.
Truly appreciate.
Or just that first month, the first month ever members. I don't know, because I wasn't here the first month. But.
Yeah, you know, there's still a handful of people, of those people still left here. Whether, you know, the reason people, you know, move in, taking a new job somewhere else, graduating college. We still have some of those OGs still in the gym, and I know they've loved the experience of how the gym's transformed, and I know they're super thankful. But at the same time, you know, I want to give back to our people because, you know, they're giving me their effort every single day, and it's something I really appreciate. You know, people are in here busting their tail, doing what I ask them to do, and so I want them to have new stuff, new equipment, more space, you know, as good of a gym as we can give them.
Yeah, I think we've done a great job of always looking for the next best thing. I mean, we could probably wrap it up here soon, but one thing we can discuss, I guess, that we're trying to bring next is Austin and I are trying to bring in a seminar on Sunday, October 20th.
Yeah, October 20th at 2 p.m. We're going to be launching a series of seminars, and they'll vary. You know, usually will be delivered on the second or third Sunday of each month, and Luke and I are going to get into some really good stuff. And we're going to start off with the assessment tests, just to kind of show people where they're at with passive range of motion, their strength, and how they can, you know, still find improvement and get out of pain if they're feeling, you know, some aches and pains here and there. But from there, you know, we're going to tap into different skills and how they can progress with that, you know. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. With that on Sunday, we will be testing a bunch of different mobility tests. We'll be testing your unilateral strength. So it will cost $50, but with that, you'll be getting that assessment on day one. You're going to get 8 weeks of training plan outside of class, and then you'll get a retest for the end of the 8 weeks. And we want to charge because we feel like we're bringing value to you, and you're also paying for the outcome where you will see change, and it's a little bit of an incentive to make sure that you do it. So if you're willing to pay for it, that means you're willing to put in the work and do it. And basically, depending on the test, there's going to be a bunch of different variables. We'll be able to